I finally got it in. I want to thank HP for partnering on this video and sending this laptop out because I've been waiting to get my hands on this laptop since I talked about it at CES 2024. It is the most beautiful 14-inch gaming laptop that you can buy today. There's just not a lot of white laptops. There are some, but there's just not a lot. And look, it's different, right? Like there's just so many silver and black laptops out there. Having a white laptop is unique, right? And there's one thing that these white laptops do very well. It's hide fingerprints. If you've touched a white laptop like I am right now, you're just not seeing it. Like your fingers have to be Dorito dirty in order to see fingerprints. But just like regular, everyday greasy fingers, you're just not seeing it. On top of that, it's just a beautiful design. Like this is a super thin and light gaming laptop. It's ridiculously thin to the point where it's just feels great to hold. It's built very well. There's not a lot of lid flex on the top. You do have a back portion over here with some HP OMEN branding. Then of course you have the OMEN logo directly in the middle. For ports, you're looking at a Thunderbolt 4 port on the left hand side. You have your audio or combo jack, and then on the right hand side you have two USB-A ports. Then on the back you have an HDMI 2.1 port and then another USB Type-C. This is not Thunderbolt, but you use it to power the laptop. Now you can easily open up this laptop with one hand, and of course the display goes this far back, which is pretty standard. A little wobbly. I would have loved the hinges to be tightened up just a little bit more, but it is what it is. One thing that I do appreciate is this white keyboard. Like it's just a beautiful keyboard, and they did something very right. Usually with white keyboards, when the keycaps are completely white, when there's a lot of light, it's hard to see the RGB. But because the keycaps have a translucent layer around it, it makes the RGB more noticeable. Like when you push the key, you'll see the RGB light up, but you'll also see a glow around the key, which is very different from other keyboards that are on the market. Now the typing experience on this is absolutely fantastic. Like it feels really good to type on it. Like it has good click. There's a lot of deepness to the key travel. There's no numpad, obviously, as I don't expect there to be. This is obviously a 14-inch laptop. You have a massive touchpad, which is glass. It feels very good to use. You have some HyperX branding over here, a little bit of markings on the right-hand side, and of course, your two stickers. The Intel sticker is a little crooked. I would have loved them to straighten up. The sticker guy needs to get back in the layer. But the one thing you get with this laptop when you buy it is the HyperX Cloud 3 wireless headphones. This comes in the box, at least it did with my unit, and I've had a pair of these for about a year now at home. I love them. Like, they're not the most expensive headset, but they sound good, and the microphone quality is actually awesome. Like the microphone on this thing sounds really, really good. Now, the other thing to note is that because you have a complete white body, the display pops even more, right? Like you have an OLED display. The thing about OLED displays is the black contrast, the deep dark blacks, the natural blacks. So when you pair that with a white body, it gives the impression of more contrast because it just pops compared to the lower part. It doesn't blend in. And the display itself is absolutely gorgeous. Like we're talking about a display that has a 0.02 millisecond response time. It's 120 hertz. The color gamut is insane, and the color accuracy is fantastic. Like not only is this an amazing gaming display, it's an awesome display to also do any sort of design work. Now, for those of you curious about the webcam, it is 1080p. It does have an infrared sensor, which means you can use Windows facial recognition to log you in. Most importantly, how does the camera look and how do the microphones sound? Now, because this is an HP laptop and it is using a Meteor Lake processor, you do have some minor AI features like framing the webcam or having the background effects come on, which you can control in the OMEN Command Center. To access the OMEN Command Center, you just hit Function F12. It'll pop up. Also, if you want to switch between the different performance profiles instead of going into the actual software, all you have to do is hit Function P. Now, there is one thing you need to know about this laptop. There is no mux switch. You can either have it on hybrid mode, which uses the integrated and dedicated GPU, or you can place it on the normal mode, which is just the integrated GPU, which means you'll save a lot more battery life at the expense of keeping your discrete GPU off. Now this is fully stacked. Like, this is the high-end unit. It comes with an Intel Core Ultra 9 CPU. It has 32 gigabytes of really fast memory. You have that beautiful 14-inch OLED display and 2 terabytes of storage. This does have an RTX 4070 and it has a TGP of 60 watts, but it can dynamically boost up to 80. Now look, this is obviously not the fastest 14-inch gaming laptop on the market when it comes to GPU performance. We know that already, right? And there's a very good reason why HP is doing that, because out of all the 14-inch gaming laptops I've tested, this one has the best thermals and the best fan noise. Like, yes, the fans will go over 50 decibels if you really push this thing. Most gaming laptops do, but they're not as audible as other 14-inch laptops that I've tested. And if you leave it on balanced mode or even economy mode, it will stay in the 40s, where other laptops will stay in the 50s. And the CPU temps, like, they never go past 80 degrees, like, never. In fact, they could probably push the thermals a little more to eke out a little bit more performance. Now the CPU, exactly where it should be. Single core clock speeds are very similar to other Meteor Lake CPUs that are currently on the market. Same holds true for multi-core performance. If you are using this for any sort of content creation, like in Photoshop or Adobe Premiere Pro, it performs very, very well. The one area where it's not as fast as other 14-inch gaming laptops is obviously gaming, because they are holding back that RTX 4070 by capping it at 80 watts. If you want the RTX 4070 to perform to its fullest potential, it has to be at least 100 watts. 80 watts is a little bit on the lower side, so you are taking a hit in GPU performance at the expense of having a laptop that doesn't get hot and also sounds better audibly. So getting inside only requires the removal of 4 screws, and once you're in, you just have this massive vapor chamber. Like, this is what's happening here to keep this thing quiet and cool while you're using this laptop. You do have one swappable drive, so if you want something bigger down the road, you can obviously replace it. You have a Wi-Fi card, which is probably under here. It's probably soldered onto the motherboard. It is Wi-Fi 7. RAM is obviously not upgradable, just like on every other Meteor Lake laptop. The battery is kind of split up into a few different pieces, but you do have a 71 watt-hour battery, and it actually gets really good battery life. Like with the PC Mark Modern Office test, I got 9 hours of use before needing to charge. The speakers, there's 2 of them. They are on the bottom. They sound really good for 2 speakers. It gets loud enough. There's a little bit of bass, and it's very clear even at max volume. So here's the bottom line. This is hands down one of the best looking 14-inch gaming laptops on the market. It has enough ports considering how thin it is. It has a fantastic keyboard, a gorgeous OLED display. It has good battery life. And the only thing I would say is that if you're looking at it and you want like the best bang for your buck, I'd probably opt for the 4060 model, just because the 4070 model is not giving you true 4070 performance. Just because of that 80 watt TGP, I feel like the 4060 is the absolute sweet spot. But either way, this is hands down the best looking 14-inch gaming laptop that I've tested so far. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.